Okay, so this next video I have to record today. It's an interesting and kind of mortifying story that's going on in the national politics space, and it has some interesting implications for some local stuff going on internally in the Idaho Republican Party. Or rather, probably more correctly, let's just not beat around the bush there, the Ada County Republican Party. So, people started noticing that their congressman wasn't showing up to work in D.C. And became more and more of a story, and then people started to go look for this person. And how that all went down and how they found her. It's kind of sad, but interesting. So I'm just going to transition over, and hopefully the window cooperates this time instead of showing Kevin Bowler's arrest warrant. Oh, was that a name I'm not supposed to say? Really? Why's that? Anyway, let's see. Okay, we've got this story right here. Retiring United States Rep. Kay Granger discloses health challenges after congressional absences. It's kind of an interesting reforming of events there. That's definitely writing it and describing it a certain way. But anyway, so Fort Worth Republicans. Okay, so this person's out of the Fort Worth area. Got it. Fort Worth Republicans' last vote in. I don't think that they would necessarily be mentioning the person's party if this was going on with a Democrat. I mean, they covered up Biden's true condition since he started running again for president. Anyway, Fort Worth Republicans' last vote in Congress was in July. She did not seek re-election this year. Yeah, that's not the point you think you're making if the person still has a job to do. And that's this person right there folding her arms. I don't want to listen to this article. I want to read it. So let's see here. See if I can blow this up a little bit. There we are. Okay. U.S. Rep. Kay Granger, the retiring Fort Worth Republican who has been frequently absent from Congress for months. Frequently? How about completely absent? Since July. From Congress for months. Instead, in a statement Sunday, she has been facing health challenges. As many of my family, friends, and colleagues have known, I have been navigating some unforeseen health challenges over the past year. It's not exactly unforeseen in most dementia cases. And on top of that, I'm willing to bet you knew something. You knew something before you stopped going to D.C. She said, however, since early September, yeah, I'm totally willing to accept this timeline in here. Okay. However, since early September, my health challenges have progressed, making frequent travel to Washington both difficult and unpredictable. Really? During this time, my incredible staff has remained steadfast, continuing to deliver exceptional constituent services as they have for the past 27 years. I'm going to press doubt on that one. And if they don't mention it here in this story, I am going to say why I doubt that later. Because how things were discovered has a very interesting play with that highlighted bit right there. But anyway, Granger, 81, was the first Republican woman elected to represent Texas in Congress. where she has served since 1997. This isn't the point you think you're making here. In her statement, she said she was able to return to Washington in November to attend meetings. Nah, that's not quite how it went down. Attend meetings and oversee the closure of her offices. I'm gonna say that's a lie, but she also attended a ceremony in which her portrait was unveiled to celebrate her 25-year tenure on the House Appropriations Committee. That just sounds disgusting. You have this portrait up because somebody was a swamp creature for so long. Anyway, Granger did not rerun for election. This year she will be replaced by Craig Goldman, a Republican who won the race for her seat in November. Her term starts blah 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 blah. Granger did not say what her health issues were. Yeah, okay. Her staff did not immediately respond to questions. Well, that's an interesting way of putting it. About why Granger's health issues were not previously disclosed to the public. Interesting way to put it. Granger's last vote in Congress was in July. She was really, because that kind of goes against what you just said here. But anyway, she was among 29 representatives who did not vote on Friday on critical spending bill to keep the government open, but the measure overall passed the House, the Senate, blah 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 blah. Reported Sunday that Granger's son, Brandon Granger, said his mother is living in a senior living facility in Fort Worth and is experiencing dementia issues. Well, at least she has her family, trying to look after her. Maybe it's entirely possible that this son of hers should have said more and said something a lot, a lot sooner. But I'm gonna give him a pass on that one since it does seem like she actually has some family, namely that son, actually trying to take care of her. Believe me, I can sympathize more than you can imagine. But anyway, it's been a hard year. These dementia issues have already been happening for a year. There's not much more time for her. She should not have been in office for so long. That is not a place for a dementia patient. There's not much more time left. You should focus on making her comfortable and putting more effort into her care. Anyway, Brandon Granger denied previous reports that his mother was residing in a memory care facility. Well, I'm going to give him a pass for two reasons. One I've already mentioned. But the other is that it might not be the entirely correct description of where she is. It's like say with people that I have that I've had this kind of experience with, where they were kept in their house for as long as possible, and having visiting hospice care, nurses and things like that. So I'm gonna let him slide on that one because, besides, a lot of these issues should not be public anyway. But then again, this person should not be in office. Anyway, Granger previously served as Fort Worth mayor. Oh, interesting. In Congress, she has served an influential House Appropriations Committee since. Yeah, okay. You're in the House Committee on Money for that long. That's not a good thing. Especially if near the end of that, you have a condition in which impairs your logic, your ability to think logically, and ability to think with numbers. This is bad that she was in there that long. She became chair of the committee in really. So this is probably when a lot of the dementia issues started. When you know this, you have experience about this kind of thing. I mean, you look back on the previous years of their life and you start to realize, yeah, they kind of had it before we really started, caring for the issue. That's a problem. Stepping down from the role earlier this year. Okay, so she wasn't in for all that long, at least as a leadership role, but still. Reporting in the Rio Grande Valley is part of blah, blah, blah. Okay. You've read one, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is a whole lot of free article stuff. So I am just going to transition back. Okay, so the reason why in fact, I'm going to go back. I made a mental note to myself to say, unforeseen, however, since during this, my incredible staff has remained steadfast, continuing exceptional constituent services. Yeah, that part in the article that year, right there, where in that statement she said that her staff has been tending to her constituents. No, because in other additions to the story, and I would be reading these other articles in front of you, but those things are way too long. Is that when people were looking for her constituents were looking for her. So you're already not taking care of your constituents if that has to happen at all, but they are looking for you. They don't find you for a while, including not even nobody at your actual office, because every congressman has a local office, at least one local office somewhere in their congressional district. I've had to visit my congressman, at least a few times. Sometimes it was friendly, sometimes it wasn't. But anyway, so they went to this office. Paper was all over the windows. Door was locked, and it didn't look like anybody had been in there for quite some time, and the lights were off. So I have extreme doubts about that. I think she was either lying, or it could have been a Dianne Feinstein kind of thing where she was unaware anyway, and just the dementia just sort of put something in there where, oh yeah, everything's fine, my people are taking care of it, kind of thing. Because dementia will also do that. You'll, for lack of better words, hallucinate. Oh, hallucinate's not the most correct word, but you'll hallucinate things, especially towards a normalism bias, where yeah, everything's fine. The fake memory in my brain just told me so. Now, why did I bring this up? The local implications, as it were. She didn't show up for a really long time, and I'm willing to grant that there's a good reason why she didn't show up. Okay. But the issue is that she was elected for a job. 6 months go by, and now we start finding out all this crap. And the American body politic, because at this point, this is not just a problem for her constituents either. No, it's a problem for everybody, even if she wasn't on a high-level position in an important House committee. Because the body that she is a part of, the group, the committee that she is a part of, that has a lot of freaking power. A lot. It has consequences for everybody in this nation. So, the local implications are that we've been having a similar problem in the Ada County Republican Central Committee for some time. It's not a new problem. It's not a new problem, but this was how the game was played but it was, for years, it was to a lot less of a degree, but the game was played this way where people would recruit precinct committeemen who might show up who will only show up for a reorg and then might show up another time at some point. But a lot of these people just don't get elected, and then oh, my phone is telling me to go to bed right now. But anyway, these people don't show up. These precinct committeemen on the committee, they just don't show up after all. And the reason that is done a lot of the time is because people are just sort of imported in to try to get a certain result of the reorganization meeting, right after the primary, and then buzz off. Yeah, we'll just we'll take we either get you to put in an alternate PC, or in later years, especially in the Victor Miller regime, where they got in proxies, even though proxies were illegal in Ada County for a long time. They put them back in under the Victor Miller tenure, and then we took care of that at Chalice afterwards. Because some really bad, immoral, and illegal things were happening under that, especially with Travis Clyde and his illegally plugged-in printer. So this is not a new problem for the Ada County GOP. It got worse under the last election, at the 2024 reorg, because there are quite a handful of people they tried to bring in for a very certain result. Now, conservatives won the day anyway. So, Thad Butterworth, Ryan Spoon, all those people, they still won the day anyway. But there are now a bunch of precincts with precinct committee men on record who do not show up. In fact, some of them have even blocked emails coming from the secretary and stuff, and apparently they're not accepting calls. One person's mail being sent to them is allegedly being returned to sender. So we have a bunch of these people who are not showing up. And it's been well past 6 months now. And in my last video about the Ada County GOP, we put forth this, attendance rule meant to start dealing with this very issue. And a lot of the debate against it kind of falls flat when 6 months was such an egregious number. You are elected to do a job, and you are purposefully not showing up and purposefully not communicating as to why you're not showing up. Because the big exception to why you might not, to not showing up, to being absent, there's, if you communicate with leadership and say, yeah, this is the reason why I'm not coming in. And these reasons usually, the good ones that we, that have been historically accepted over the years, and this is definitely going to be true going forward, and because are the same kinds of reasons why the Idaho House of Reps might excuse somebody from not being present, or things of that nature. Like, yeah, I got cancer treatments, I can't come in, or I have a death in the bereavement, I have a death in the family, I can't be coming in right now. See, communication is key with a lot of this. There's a lot of those kinds of reasons where it is completely legitimate to not show up, but you gotta tell leadership about it, though. And how many people are actually saying, oh yeah, this is the reason why I'm not coming in, and just keep on doing that month after month after month? Well, nobody's doing that, for one, and two, that wouldn't be legitimate even if you did. But nobody's even doing that. We're not hearing from a lot of these people, and 6 months is so. There are going to be interesting issues because a lot of people are reacting to this national story a very certain way. And if this is the socially, the border between socially and not socially acceptable 6 months, where it's apparently really egregious now, there are a bunch of PCs who have not been coming in for a lot longer now, because the reorg was last May. We haven't heard from a good number of them since. And it is not an ethical thing. It is not a moral thing. It is not a good thing to recruit people who you know won't be showing up past a reorg. You're not being a good person. You're not being a human being. You're a good human being. You are definitely not being a good Republican when you do that kind of thing. So I guess my problem is not just with the delinquent people, but also with the people bringing them in. So with that, I have one more video to record tonight, and I think that one's going to be a bit shorter, but who knows. With that, I am going to say blessings.